now going to talk on how to install an Mvision 200 Combo satellite digital terrestrial receiver. So I'll just start off by opening up the box here. And we look inside. Some nice packaging on it. But basically, we have a receiver. We have two manuals inside. One manual is a straightforward user's manual, and the second manual inside it is a guide on how to install a PVR. So you can add a hard drive onto this satellite box at a later point in time. And then in terms of the thing itself, we have a satellite receiver, or we have a remote control, we have batteries for the remote control and phone out plugs, and we have a HDMI satellite cable, and we have an adapter plug, because this by default comes with a 2-pin plug, so we have an adapter that fits onto it, okay? So what I'll actually do here is I'm going to tidy up this box here, and I am simply going to work with some things like the remotes and things like that that I already have taken out at a earlier stage from a previous box. So the first thing I'll do is, instead of putting on the adapter, I'm just going to use this type of adapter for this case. I'm going to plug in the satellite DTT receiver here. Now if we look at the back of the box, there's a number of connections here. It's a very, very complicated box in terms of it does an enormous amount of things. The first thing I'm going to do is, you can connect it to the television using either a SCART lead or a HDMI lead. You can program it using either a USB connection here or an RS-232. And then in terms of inputs, you have an aerial input here, which will give you digital terrestrial, and you have an LNB in here, an LNB out loop as well. But the main thing is the LNB in, and that will take a feed from the satellite dish. So just to show you the type of equipment that you'd use, the satellite dish that you'd use here in Britain or Ireland is something like this Zone 2 Sky dish, and the UHF aerial, there's a number of range. You could use a contract aerial, either a colour-coded one, a banded one, but a sort of an all-purpose one would be this grid aerial, which is stock in TV trade. It covers the full UHF spectrum. It will work on every digital transmitter, and it gives a very, very high level of gain. So this type of aerial will have a coaxial connector on the end of it to suit the input on the back of this box, while the satellite will have an F-type connector. Okay, so it's not possible to put them in the wrong slots if you've wired them correctly. So the first thing I'll do now is I will come along and I will screw in the F connector into the back of the satellite box, which I have here. You can see that fully connected now. The next thing is I'll come along and I'll take this coaxial lead. I'm just going to, for the particular transmitter I'm using here, we're using a red type aerial, so what I'll do is I'll come along and I'll feed this into the input side. So now we have all the inputs into the box that we need. We have the power input, we have the satellite input, and we also have the aerial input. And the next thing is, I'm going to, in this particular case, use a HDMI cable, although I could alternatively use the SCART cable to connect up to the television. And now what I do is there's a switch on the back of the box, which I'll turn on now, and it'll turn on the HDMI receiver, or it'll turn on the Mvision Combo receiver for me now. And that's it. You can see the signal strength is coming up by default on the satellite channel. If I just hit the OK button, it gives me a channel list here. You can see on this particular one, we've programmed the satellite box from channels 1 up to the top of the list. You know, we're probably going to change the list there, but normally it would be roughly from channel 1 all the way up to channel 80, I would say. And on this particular box, there's only 2 HD channels. BBC HD is one of them. And the reason that there's a limited number of channels, although there's a lot of channels being broadcast on HD currently, only 2 of them are free to air. That's BBC HD and also Lux HD. Now ITV HD sometimes broadcasts for matches, things like that, and that can be of course added on as well. But as time goes on, we'll say, I'm speaking now from November of 2009, as time goes on, a lot more additional channels will become available. So, you know, it'll take a while to build up, but if you buy something like a HD box like this, you're totally future-proofing yourself. Just to show you 1 or 2 more things that relevant to this box, you have card slots on the front. There's 2 different card slots here for different type of card readers, and also on the back of the box you have the RS-232 cable, which can be used for programming the satellite box. Or you can use this USB port, which can be used to program the box, or you can use something like this USB key here to flash program that box. So have all the programs pre-programmed onto this key and simply go from box to box programming them up. And it takes about 9 seconds per box, okay? So there's an awful lot of features on it. Of all the boxes on the market, there's nothing quite like the Mvision. It's a super, super box. And that's the end of it. That's the full installation beginning to end of the box.